Saints tonight are in Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers. It is going to be chilly up there at Lambeau, and the Saints have been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. So it's really just a situation here where you're getting another look at Spencer Rattler, some of these young players, in an iconic setting. And there's not really anything on the line for the Saints other than draft position and pride at this point. So we'll get a thought on this game tonight with Sharief Ishaq, who joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline, or Sharief down there at WDSU in New Orleans. Sharief, how are we doing?
I'm doing great. I'm not in Lambeau Field where it's 25 degrees and snowing apparently, so I'm happy and grateful for that.
Yeah, that's just not. Well, I had a great time at Lambeau Field before the game started in September when LSU played. I don't have any interest at all in going up there for one of these December games when it's in the teens. That's a no-go for me. As I mentioned there, Saints mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Do you want them to win, or do you need a better draft position?
No. I mean, look, it's sad to say that because these guys, like, man, they're playing for a spot on the team, and they really do play hard for Rizzy. That's one thing they've done, and I think that you want to, I guess, see what this team has moving forward after these last three games, who you can count on, who you can depend on. I sound like a broken record, man. Like, can they count on Kendre Miller after this year? I'd love to see more from Kendre and stay healthy in these next three games, because I think he's going to get a majority of these runs and these carries until Kamara comes back. If he comes back, if he does, I'd be shocked it's not the last game. But you want to see these players, these young players, improve, because this franchises, they need players in a very bad way. I mean, and it's not good right now. The books are bad, of course. That's always been the case, but you have to start finding these pieces if this thing ever needs to turn over, which needs to happen as soon as possible.
With Kendre Miller, Ross Jackson had a story for us at LouisianaSports.net where Dennis Allen basically put him on IR even though Miller was just about ready to go, because I think they just got crossways with the injury history. How much blame do you put on Kendre Miller for his unavailability, and how much was just a bad situation that maybe he can shake out of?
A little bit of both. I mean, it was on him in training camp when we talked for the very first time. He got hurt 10 minutes into practice, hurt his hamstring. Yeah, that's on him. I mean, he'd tell you that. He even said it before the season, or when the season ended last year, that hey, he has to do a better job of staying healthy, and it didn't come out healthy. But I think that last part was on Dennis Allen. I think it was one game. He should have never been put on IR again and missed 4 games. I think he was probably going to be ready after that one game. But he looks motivated, and the way he ran last 2 games, you're starting to see the flashes. You're starting to see the guy who they drafted, to help Alvin Kamara. So, yeah, I think the talent is there. It is there for him. I mean, that the guy can run between tackles. It's just, man, it's just unfortunate how that situation unfolded this year with he and Dennis Allen. I think, but I think he got put in a bad spot, and I think he should have been playing much quicker and much sooner instead of going on IR.
What's your anticipation for Spencer Rattler tonight?
That's a top 10 defense, and you're playing in some, I know it's probably not going to be snowing. It may not even be snowing, but that's cold. Cold is cold. Midwestern cold is different than your Southern cold. It's just, they're used to it. They know how to play in it. I think I saw a stat that they've never lost a Monday Night Football game in December in Lambeau Field. So look, man, they got to come out fast. They can't turn the ball over. I mean, as cliche as it sounds, you can't have the start that they did last week with Jake Kendre. They need to have the start that they had with Spencer Rattler in the second half. And they just got to push forward, man. They just make something happen, because I don't know. I just don't know how, without all these weapons, they are going to penetrate a top 10 defense. I mean, that's the defense that's tough. And they're even more tough at home. So, if you can get to 150 yards and a touchdown, it almost sounds like a victory for them. Not on the scoreboard, but in terms of pride.
I mean, this Packers defense statistically is very good as far as yards allowed and points allowed. They're not incredibly dynamic as far as the pass rush goes, as far as those advanced analytics with pass rush win weight and all that kind of stuff. They're not jaw dropping there. So you would think that the Saints could theoretically keep Rattler upright. It's just a matter of can they make some plays if they do against a good unit there in Green Bay. Last time the Saints saw Jordan Love, he had not really taken off yet. Saints still found a way to give that game away, but it's a different guy at this point in his career. What do you expect from the Saints defense tonight?
I mean, it's crazy as it sounds. I know it was like last year in September, but that felt like a get going game for Jordan Love, because ever since then, his trajectory has gone upward and upward each game. And man, look, he's dialed in. That's a guy, like, you can kind of see, like, he learned a lot from Aaron Rodgers in those 3 years. I think he's got like the traits. He's got like the way he rolls out and throws the ball. I mean, he doesn't really turn the ball over much. I mean, he's not necessarily like in the top 10 of all those important categories, but he does a good job of like not getting sacked. I mean, I think he might be the top in the NFL of all the every week starters of not getting sacked. I think he's only been sacked 11 times. So he does a good job of avoiding the blitz. He does a job of getting out of the blitz, and it takes care of the football. I mean, you have to disguise it. I mean, and if you get to him, you've got to bring him down. You miss him, it's going to be a long game. That's a guy you cannot let shake free, because he'll just keep his eyes down the field like he usually does as well, and release the ball down the field to Watson or one of his other receivers, because, I mean, it's just not him, though, huh? I mean, Josh Jacobs is also there. That's a top 5 running back in the NFL. So, look, man, I'm anticipating a long night, to be honest with you. I'm anticipating that the 14-point spread is correct, and it could go over that.
Look, I'm speaking for myself, and then you can comment here or there, but I'm not shocked that Dennis Allen got fired. I'm not shocked that the Saints aren't great. I'm not shocked that Derek Carr got hurt. I'm pretty shocked the Saints have been atrocious as far as run defense goes. That's not something that was on my radar in August. How surprising has that been for you?
Very. Yeah, it wasn't on my radar either, man. I mean, just to see how many yards are just being piled up, week after week after week. I thought they did a good job last week with Jaden Daniels. I mean, he had the 66 yards. I mean, that one run was like his big run. But the problem is like sometimes those smalls turns into bigs, and those small, like, not being able to get a quarterback down turns into a big play down the field with the arm. And that's the type of thing that worries me with scrambling quarterbacks like Jaden and Jordan. But then, like the Josh Jacobs stuff, it worries me because of explosive plays. That's where the Saints defense has had issues in terms of running backs, is giving up explosive plays. We saw it with Saquon Barkley. We've seen it a few times throughout the season. Yeah, man, this is the one part of the defense going into the season I thought would be like the most reliable part of their defense would be the run defense, and it has certainly let them down for pretty much most of this season. And, that's why they're in the situation that they're in defensively.
No question about it. Saints and Packers tonight on Monday Night Football. We'll be watching. Y'all have a great holiday, Sharief, and we'll talk next week.
All right, anytime, Hunt.
Sharief Ishaq, WDSU down there in New Orleans. Yeah, I think tonight. I mean, we talked about this a little bit with Luke last week on Thursday. The problem in this matchup tonight is that the Packers really can run the ball. They are physical, and Jacobs is really good, and they get things rolling when they're really good on the ground. Sure, Jordan Love's played much better football over the past calendar year than he did before the Saints played there last year, but the run game is what powers them, and the Saints can't stop the run, and it's a huge, huge problem. It's not one that I saw cropping up this year. You look at that interior defense, and you see some veteran players in an emerging Brazil. You see Cam Jordan and Carl Granderson on the edges. Demario Davis is still in there. Pete Warner. I mean, they've got the makings of a group that should be able to stop the run, and they just simply cannot. And so I don't anticipate that starting again tonight. We'll see, but that's the biggest problem that I have when I look at this matchup for New Orleans and think, okay, how does this play out? It just the running game. I think the Packers are going to run for 190 yards tonight. It's just that is a big issue for New Orleans. So we'll talk about it a little bit more as we move forward. If you're looking for our Saints coverage, you can always find it over at YouTube, Hunt on Saints. That is now in podcast form for those that want to check that out. You can see wherever you find your sound. You can search Hunt on Saints. Ross Jackson will have story up tonight on LouisianaSports.net. For this one between the Saints and the Packers. So we got you covered on all angles there with New Orleans and Green Bay. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.